You also have a little extra
Yes,
money if
thanks.
you could get some illumination there, so that people come home from work and see. Stayed across 6 or 7 have the same amount of time. Get all of these incentives, the skateboarders and all that. Because you got a lot of people that got to take their dogs out at 6 and 8 o'clock. And there's nowhere to do it in the whole country.
That's both of us. Yes. This one, I don't know what it does. It's country that you'll hear it's either a what.
Mr. Mayor, we're ready to go.
Ready to go?
Yes, sir, 6:02.
Okay. All right. Julia says it's 6 o'clock, and so I'll call June 9th Town Council regular meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight. And we got something here that we're not really proud, but this man right here has got 40 years of service. This is his last board meeting. He is retiring. He's finally retired. He retired at 30 years, and we pulled him out of retirement and brought him here from Statesville, North Carolina. And of course, we got him away from the east, down east, didn't we? Huh?
That's right. That's right.
But anyway, I'd like to say how much that, on behalf of this board, how much we appreciate everything that you have did, for the town of Waynesville citizens. You have, we could fill this room with people that you have helped and things that you have done over your time here with the town. And we truly appreciate that. And now you can come and sit and be public comment and chew on us a little bit or something. But anyway, thank you so much.
I think that deserves a big.
I know I will personally miss him here. He's just like a brother to me rather than a town manager.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep. Okay, we'll go to our calendar. The only thing we have is our next scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, June the 23rd is our next scheduled meeting. Okay, and then public comment. We have a public comment.
We have 2 public comment, but they've signed up for the public hearing
Okay.
later on for the legislative zoning change.
Okay.
So we will call those names.
Okay.
Just that item on the agenda.
Yeah, and if there's anyone that didn't get their name on that list that would like to speak at that public hearing, after these folks have spoke, just raise your hand, and anyone else can speak on that behalf also. It's not just tied to them. So it's anybody out here in the public would like to speak on the public hearing. Okay, we'll move on to additions or deletions to the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I have one addition to make to the consent agenda, and it's on everyone's.
Okay,
It's the closing Virginia Avenue June 20th for the Hazelwood Baptist Church.
oh, okay, okay,
So I'm moving to add that to the consent agenda.
okay, that's your motion.
Yes.
Got a second?
Second.
Second from Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
We have a motion. Second, Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. So ordered. Okay, we'll move on to this public hearing, and I'll need a motion from the board member here to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open public hearing there.
Okay, Alex,
Second.
is Alex here? Oh, yeah.
John second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, Alex.
All right. Good evening, Council. Before you tonight, we have a text amendment to establish the Rural Conservation District as an addition to our zoning districts. Pursuant to the Waynesville 2035 Comprehensive Plan, the Planning Board and Town Council established a density work group to examine areas of the 2035 future land use map of the Comprehensive Plan and current zoning. Working with Jake Petrosky of Stewart, multiple areas were targeted for potential reduction of density or downzoning. The areas that the future land use map recommended reducing density for included parts of Allen's Creek, Country Club, Raccoon Creek, Francis Cove, Pigeon Street, Howell Mill, and Hazelwood zoning districts. The group also discussed building height and allowable uses for the proposed district. The resulting recommendation was to create a rural conservation district, which would encompass primarily rural, undeveloped, and agricultural land in these areas. The minutes and the summary of that density work group can be found on the town's website. Before the amendment could be brought forward as a text amendment, however, the North Carolina State Legislature passed an omnibus bill at the end of 2024 that prohibited downzoning without the express initiation of the landowner. This would not prevent the creation of a text amendment for a new lower density district, but would prevent the towns initiating a map amendment to apply such an ordinance without a property owner's agreement. At the planning board's direction, staff brought forward a version of the rural conservation text amendment for review. The proposal creates the RCON district within the land development standards, but does not apply the district to any property. Individuals or groups of property owners could voluntarily rezone their property to this new district. The planning board voted to recommend the proposed amendment to the town council in a vote of 6-3. For the ordinance, the proposed ordinance would establish the RCON district as a new zoning district, and it would add a new purpose and need statement to the descriptions of zoning types in the LDS section 2.2. It would amend the dimensional standards table, LDS section 2.4.1, to establish a maximum base density of 2.5 units per acre and set a maximum allowed density through a special use permit at 6 units per acre. It would set the minimum lot size at 0.5 acre, which is consistent with the town's low density districts. However, it would allow for a conservation design to a minimum lot size of 4,000 square feet by setting aside 40% of land for civic and open space. The overall density would still remain the same. It would also emphasize the use of environmental conservation subdivision standards and cottage court subdivision standards, which are already in the land development standards, but we felt were kind of buried in Chapter 15, and that this effectively brought them to the front in Chapter 2. It would use the same setbacks as the low density districts unless part of a conservation or cottage subdivision, and would cap the maximum building height in the rural conservation district at 45 feet. It would also amend the permitted uses table to create a new district column and allow the same uses as in Waynesville's low density districts along with agricultural uses. And we believe that this is consistent with the comprehensive plan under Goal 1, which is to continue to promote smart growth principles in land use planning and zoning by encouraging infill, mixed use, and context-sensitive development, and promoting conservation design to preserve the important natural resources of Waynesville. As well, it's consistent with Goal 3 to protect and enhance Waynesville's natural resources, which is to conserve open space and farmland by promoting infill and encouraging development in the urbanized areas of town, and to protect rural lands, iconic views, and mountain vistas. I'll now read for you the exact text of the amendment. So it would add the rural conservation district as a type under section 2.2. And it would add the following purpose and intent statement under section 2.3.1, which would be the rural conservation district is established pursuant to the 2035 comprehensive plan as an owner-initiated district designation that promotes the preservation of agricultural lands, undeveloped floodplain, forest, mountainous areas, and open space. This district is primarily single-family homes, hobby farms, bona fide farms, and other agricultural land, with limited allowances for other uses within the civic, institutional, agricultural, and infrastructure categories. New development and subdivisions shall promote a low-impact development approach, focusing on large lot single-family development with the option for higher density cluster development by preserving significant area for open and civic space. Use of the cottage development and conservation subdivision options found in section 15.9.5 is encouraged. As for amendments to section 2.4.1, which is the table of dimensional standards, it would set the maximum density, base density at 2.5 units per acre, and the maximum density through a special use permit at 6 units per acre. It would set the minimum lot size at 0.5 acre, but we also include that caveat for the 4,000 square feet by committing 40% of the development to civic space. The lot width would be 60 feet, and the minimum pervious surface would be 20%. The setbacks would be 20 feet from the front, 20 feet from the side street, 10 feet from the side, and 15 feet between buildings, and 20 feet in the rear. The side setbacks for side and rear setbacks for accessory structures would be 5 feet. The principal building height maximum would be 3 stories, and accessory structures at 2 stories, with the maximum height in feet set at 45 feet. We are also slightly modifying the measurement of building height along with the Archon district to include silos and barns and animal uses as exception to the building height. Like I said, later in section 4.4.2, we specify about the rural conservation district building height maximum being 45 feet, while in all areas of town, it will continue to be 60 feet. We also have the changes to permitted uses. I can read through every use if council wishes, but to summarize it, it is uses that are consistent with the existing low density districts with a focus on including agricultural uses in that area.
Okay. Anthony, you have questions for?
Okay.
How did you know?
We always-
I always have questions. The planning board voted 6-3. What was the
Mhm.
rationale for the 3 dissenting votes? Was it for the additional items that were added that I removed from this?
It was partially that. I would say that the opinions, it was largely around those alternate items that were removed from the initial submission. They were split. I believe one voter against it felt that it didn't go far enough. They actually wanted more density reduction. And then another voter felt that this wasn't the town's place to lower the density thresholds across the board. So that was the primary conflicts there.
And what was the rationale for the 45-foot height from 60 feet?
This was established during the original working group. And
That John and I talked about. Yeah.
we can amend that if you'd like to make it consistent
No,
with 60 feet.
Actually, it was what we had decided as a consensus. So I'm actually okay with 45 feet. I want to make it clear to everyone that the reason this is completely voluntary
It
for
is.
landowners. And the reason we cannot dictate it is because the state has tied our hands that we cannot
Yes.
enact lower density than what is already there. But this is giving the landowners an option to downsize on their own.
Yep.
Or a group of homeowners.
That's right. We view
or
this,
landowners.
we view this as the opportunity for neighborhoods to collectively agree that they want lower zoning in order to try to maintain the character of their neighborhood. There's been discussion about what the incentive is for the downzoning, since it would be an owner-initiated downzoning, but we feel that the incentive is ensuring that your neighborhood maintains the certain character that it has, and knowing that your neighbors aren't going to suddenly
Knowing that you
build.
have one neighbor that could say no.
That as well. That's true.
That's it. I'm a firm believer in trying to protect farmland when we legally can.
Yes.
John, do you have a question for me?
No questions. I have some comments that I'll make later.
Later, okay. All right, Joe, you have any,
No, sir.
Chuck?
Nothing.
Okay,
All right.
all right, thank you.
Thank you, council.
Okay, we will now open it up to the public and I'll let the town attorney speak of the folks that's already signed up for it. And again, if there's someone else that wants to speak in favor of this, just raise your hand. There is a 3-minute, and she will keep that 3-minute time limit on the comments there. She's in charge of that, so I'll turn the public hearing over to our town attorney.
Dawn Smart.
Mayor Caldwell and City Councilman and lady, appreciate the opportunity to speak here tonight. I'd like to speak in favor of this resolution or amendment or zoning change. As you know, in the last 2 or 3 meetings, we've been talking about trying to preserve rural land, farmland. As I said, town of Waynesville is a beautiful town. It's beautiful because it's surrounded by rural countryside. We got a great county, and I'd like to see us keep it great. When you got something that's good, keep it, don't give it away. So I think you're making a great move to take what rural land or farmland what's in the city limits, to let those people want to keep it, make it possible for them to do so. So you got my support, and I appreciate it, and thank you much.
Yeah, thank you, Don.
Mandy, Stacy?
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and fellow citizens. My name is Mandy Saucy, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight in support of the proposed rural conservation districts as a resident of Haywood County. For generations, the rolling fields, family farms, and open spaces surrounding Waynesville have helped define who we are. But they are more than just beautiful scenery. They are the places where families have built their lives, where food is grown, and where the traditions and values of our mountain communities are passed from one generation to the next. I know that growth is inevitable, and I understand that property owners should have options for their land, but I also believe that growth and conservation do not have to be opposing forces. We can find a balance. That is why I believe these rural conservation districts are such an important opportunity. They offer a middle ground between completely unrestricted development and the much more demanding process of permanent farmland preservation. Not every landowner is in a position to navigate the complex preservation process, especially when funding is limited and resources are stretched thin. This proposal creates another path, one that allows landowners to maintain the rural character of their property. Last month, the Planning Board spent considerable time discussing this issue and ultimately voted 6-3 to recommend its approval. That recommendation reflects the voices of many residents like myself who have expressed concern about the development of farmland in Haywood County and who want to ensure that we do not lose the pastoral landscape that makes this community so special. Once farmland and open space are gone, they are not recoverable. Every field that becomes a subdivision is one less opportunity for the next generation of farmers, one less piece of our heritage, and one more step away from community that so many of us cherish. Tonight, you have the opportunity to make a meaningful step towards protecting that heritage. Rural conservation districts are not the final answer to farmland preservation, but they are a thoughtful and practical stepping stone. They provide hope that we can encourage responsible growth while still protecting the rural landscape that makes Haywood County so unique. I respectfully ask that you support this zoning amendment and vote in favor of rural conservation districts. By doing so, you will help preserve not the land itself, but our history, character, and future of the communities we love. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Is that it? Okay, does anyone else? Nancy, would you like to speak? Would you like to speak? Anyone else would like to speak in favor or not in favor of this amendment? Okay. Okay, I'll motion that we close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Whoa,
I second.
I need
I
a second.
second. I second.
He seconded, yeah. Anthony seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, John, you said you had something further.
I do. Elizabeth, when did we start that process?
2021.
Mhm.
So 5 years ago, the citizens of this community and surrounding it told this council they wanted us to look at the issue of density in specifically. And as a result of that, the council formed a joint working group with the planning board, and we spent, 2 years, 3 years, looking at that issue. And what you see before you tonight is substantially the results of that effort. I was proud of the work that that working group did. And I was looking forward to when we could bring that before the planning board and the council, because I felt like it was a good balance between balancing the needs of the property owners and the community. And so that's why it was such a gut punch when the legislature pulled the rug out from underneath us. And I want to commend Elizabeth and the Development Services Department for not quitting in the face of the legislature's decision to prevent this local government from being able to respond to the wishes of our citizens. So thank you, Elizabeth. You and your team did great work. Jake Petrosky did great work. And I couldn't be, the only thing that I regret is we couldn't take this and make it even more comprehensive in terms of, right now, it's kind of voluntary. And I would have loved to see what we could have done had we make it really forceful. So I'm completely in favor of this, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Okay, does anyone else have any
I
comment?
have just one comment to add on to Councilman Fighter. I was on that board as well, and we came up with a very good compromise, I think. And we could have done a lot more if legislative had not stepped in. And I'm a huge believer in property rights, and it was a great piece that we had ready to come, and we were just got punched by the legislature. And it was a good compromise, and I agreed with it, which some people might find shocking. So I think this is a good compromise of what we could do legally with what the legislature has done to us. So thank you, John. Thank you, everyone that worked on this.
Okay, would someone like to make a motion?
Well, may I say something first? I just wanted to thank Mr. Smart and Ms. Stassi for their support for this,
Right.
and also for their personal efforts to preserve their farmland. And I've noticed in the paper, I think you've been to Raleigh, and you're continuing to advocate on a state level. So I certainly thank you for that and encourage you in those efforts. I know it's not easy, but
We had more people in any county in the state than Raleigh. We had 50,
all right.
100 counties, and to send as many people as we did, we would have got 30 years.
Well,
I will tell you, I guarantee you, the next time you go, let John and I know, and we will both be there with you.
Love to have you.
yes,
Thank you.
okay.
That's all.
Okay, someone give me a motion, then we'll.
John.
I don't have the word.
I'll make a motion to find that the proposed amendment is consistent with the 2035 plan in that it continues to promote smart growth principles in land use planning and zoning, encourages infill, mixed use, and content-sensitive development. It promotes conservation design to preserve the important natural resources.
Okay, got a motion by Anthony.
Second.
Second by Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. We also have a
I'll
second.
make a motion to adopt the proposed amendment in that it protects and enhances Waynesville natural resources, conserve open spaces and farmland by promoting infill and encouraging development in the urbanized areas of town. And it protects rural lands, iconic views, and mountain vistas.
Second.
Second by John. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so like sign. Thank you. Thank you all for coming tonight, supporting that. It is now in effect. Okay, we'll move on to old business. We got continued discussion of the fiscal year 2027 budget. Ian? Is it on or Ian?
Ian,
Did I do it right? Okay,
Ian.
Ian. Mr. Ian. It's not Mr. Ed, it's Mr. Ian.
Loved Mr. Ed growing up, though. Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's me again. So we had our workshop yesterday, and I believe one of the main directives given was towards Paige about salaries and livable wage. So I would like to yield some time to Miss Paige here to go over her findings with the mayor and council.
Thank you, Ian. Good evening, Mayor, Town Council. Like Ian said, I was given a directive yesterday, I believe it was from you, Mr. Feichter, to do some research on living wages. And so I did stay late last night, did some calculations, and I got as far as 1.5 departments before I clocked out for the evening, because the total of those two, or 1.5 departments, was over 1.8 million to
and that was
implement.
for how many employees?
63. And so I didn't want to spend any more time on this without some direction from the board. I did email all of you the data last night, but I'm happy to go over more of this information with you if you have questions.
Now, sorry.
You go ahead.
Okay. When you did the living wage, you bumped everyone else above it up as well, correct? Because that comes out to $28,571 per employee that would have to be increased.
So basically, what I determined was there are 11 grades in use by the town of Waynesville that have a starting wage under that living wage. The hiring wage for each grade in the paying class system is 3.5% more than the grade below it, except for grade 53, which is the starting grade. The percentage difference between the hiring rate today for a grade 53 and a living wage is 43.42%.
How many, you will not have the answers to my questions, I guarantee. And if you did, I would be falling over on the floor.
Okay.
How many employees do we have that are at that rate?
Under the living wage,
Yes.
the last time I checked that, we had about 40 to 50 employees.
Are they mostly in Public Works and Parks and Recs?
That is correct. And that is why I started with with Public Works after I did Fire Department.
How far between level 1 and level 2 does our level 2 meet living wage?
No. The first 11 grades,
Do not.
starting wage does not.
Starting grades, as
Yeah.
in starting with 53. Is that what?
Yes.
I'm looking at the
53
spreadsheet.
is the lowest grade in our paying classification system. And our hiring rate for grade 53, I believe, is a little over $31,000 a year.
Paige, so I know the answer to this, but I want you to say it to everybody, is benefits versus the wage. How does that fall into all of this?
Great question. And I actually put some background on that
I know.
on my memo, so I'll read that
I know you
aloud.
got it.
So the MIT Living Wage Calculator posits that the living wage for one adult and no children for Haywood County is $45,635 per year, or $21.94 per hour. You were really close yesterday, by the way.
I said 2130, so I messed
You were
up.
very close. The MIT Living Wage Calculator does not consider employer-provided benefits as part of the hourly living wage it outputs. The calculator defines the living wage strictly as the market-based hourly cash wage that a full-time worker must earn in gross income to cover a basic, low-cost family budget in their specific geographic area. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome.
So whenever we're doing comparisons, we're not considering it could be comparing apples to oranges as far as total benefit package. So we have a very robust. benefit
Absolutely.
package.
There is no question about that. Absolutely.
The MIT calculator for this category has $3,394 for healthcare,
Yes, I saw that when I researched it.
which I think is probably more than many of our employees have to pay with the $500 deductible that we have, and then the small copays. So I'm thinking that maybe there's another $3,000 in there that's or close to it that actually probably should be included in the wage.
And I could absolutely go back and deduct that amount from their 45,635 if you want me to, and continue with the calculations and bring that to you at the next meeting if you would like.
I don't know if there are different methods of figuring out living wage. That's what I'm saying. Now,
Sure.
we look at the MIT or the MTI, but there may be other methods.
There is
I
another
recall in the past.
organization in Asheville, actually, it's based in Asheville, that their living wage is technically lower than the MIT living wage. If you would like, I can create an average of the two. It's all dependent upon what you're looking for and where you want me to direct my time. I'm happy to do it. And you just need to tell me what you want.
And I'm not sure. Theirs was certainly based on the availability of insurance, employer-paid insurance. I know in the past it was. They calculated that there were two different amounts depending on whether the employer paid for insurance.
Sure.
Of course, we look at if you have to go out on your own and buy insurance, there could be, I don't know if there's subsidies or not, probably not that much anymore. So I don't know. It's a lot to consider.
It is.
I would say, I would like to know what benefits we offer above and beyond that. If we cut and put that money toward wages, would that get us to living wage per se?
So it would be dependent upon the individual employee because a majority of our benefits are based on your salary. For example, the 401k. We put 5% of
This is
an
on top of
employee's.
they also get another retirement, right?
They do. So statutorily, every local government employee has access, every full-time local government employee has access to the retirement system, the ELDR system. And the municipality or local government entity puts a certain percentage of that employee's annual salary into the retirement system. And the employee is statutorily has to put 6% of their own money into that system. And that is automatically deducted from every full-time employee's pay. And then the town participates in the 401k through the state. Our LEOs, they fall under a different statute for the 401k participation. The town must contribute 5% of the LEO's salary into that
Law enforcement
program.
officers.
Thank you, sir. Everyone else, we also provide a 5% into that 401k. It would be challenging administratively to allow employees to choose whether or not they want us to contribute the full 5% or not, if that's where you're headed. I'm speaking of non-LEOs, obviously, but I could look into that if that's something that you're wanting to pursue. Is maybe the town provides 2% into a 401k, and then the additional 3% they get in on their paycheck. However, I don't know if that is something we can set up easily in our financial system and our payroll system.
Can I want to clarify something. You said, so the regular staff, non-sworn officer staff, the town contributes 15.5%. Actually, I think it's 14.5% now and will increase another 1% coming up. And 16, actually, whatever sworn officers in this budget will have 17.1%. And you said staff, and does that include sworn officers also contribute 6% on top?
That is correct.
So effectively, at this point, a regular staff person, you, for instance, are contributing 21.5% of your salary goes to the Elders retirement system.
So 6% of my own money, and then the municipality
15.5%
contributes the rest, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
So ultimately, that's a pretty good chunk of change
Mhm.
for employers or staff members. And on top of that,
Mhm.
we're doing 5% into a 401k.
That is correct.
And so ultimately, which over 26%
Mhm.
of a staff person's salary is being funded
Person-
towards their
In the
retirement.
amount of their salary, it's not considered their salary, but it's a benefit. on top of it.
Totally get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so here's the question in my mind.
Mhm.
And I absolutely believe in the wisdom of providing a top-notch benefits package to our staff. They take care of this town. They make this town go. And I feel obligated to provide those kind of benefits to them. But the question I have we shifted too much of employee compensation into long-term benefits and not enough into take-home pay? And because when somebody is struggling to make ends meet today, it's awful difficult to think about retirement 30 years from now. So I think we should at least have a conversation in those concepts. Here is what's driving this conversation from my perspective. When I sat in all those months in your HR meetings down at Public Works,
Mhm.
the topic of salaries and pay rates came up regularly. And the comment that I heard over and over again was, I can go to these young guys could go to MSD in Asheville and make significantly more money on the pay rate, base pay rate. And our response was always, yes, but we've got these great benefit packages. And unfortunately, like I said, it's difficult to think about it in those terms when you're struggling today.
I always say you can't eat a benefit.
That's
You
right.
can't drive a benefit. A benefit will not put a roof over your head or food in your child's tummy.
But I wholeheartedly agree with him, but I want to make clear that even taking that 5%, they're getting like 24% toward their retirement. So it's not removing a retirement
And-
benefit.
Yeah, and I don't want to take anything away from them. I just think that we need to think about balancing benefits versus pay rates.
I don't
And-
disagree.
And I think at this point, we are tilted in one direction, maybe unnecessarily.
I believe that the answer to your question, are we top heavy in benefits? Let's just put it that way. I believe the answer to your question will be different based on who you talk to. Would that be a fair
Sure.
assessment?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think those folks who are in those 11 grades would agree with you. I think that the folks who are in the grades above that may disagree with you. How do you get to a consensus, right?
And people in the varying age groups, you know.
Absolutely.
From-
Age absolutely plays an
From my
impact on this.
perspective, I'm far more concerned about.
Me
because
too, John.
5 years from now. But so what I would love to see us have and is a conversation about maybe finding ways to rebalance that, to make some of these situations where people are struggling. And when I see your $1.8 million, I nearly fell out.
I recalculated
Yeah.
several times to ensure that my math was
Yeah.
correct. And that is applying equity across the board. And I think you all understand that. And I'm just going to speak to the audience a moment. As Anthony put yesterday, when the water rises, the boat rises with it. And so I can't make a change to an employee's salary without it impacting every other employee's salary up the line of the grade. And so that's why that figure is so high. To maintain that internal equity, it costs a lot of money.
May I say something? The two retirement funds, the 401k vests immediately, correct?
You have access to it immediately.
Mhm, okay.
Yes,
And the Elders
5
state
years.
retirement takes 5 years.
Correct.
So if they stay with us 5 years, then they can access that. Otherwise, they lose it if they.
They don't lose it. You can freeze it.
Okay.
You can freeze it. You can also cash it out if you're not vested. And then let's say you
Okay.
do cash it out and you go to work for another local government unit, then you start over
Okay,
again.
so those funds are available then to the folks that get them.
With heavily taxed,
Uh-huh,
obviously.
Right, exactly. My understanding is the reason we give 5% to the employees, to their 401k is because the police, we are required to give the police 5%, and we thought it would only be fair.
Equity,
you know,
absolutely.
Again, we'll have the discussion, but if we lessen the 401k, then, I mean, may not work because what's going to happen is the salaries may go up a little bit, but then, 5-10 years from now, we're going to be asked, well, why aren't you putting the same amount in our 401k that we're
Invested
putting in
in
the
it,
police 401k? You know?
There's also a circular reference here because if you raise the salary, you're actually going to raise the amount that you contribute to their.
Absolutely.
That's fair too.
Yeah,
And not only that, the individual can choose to contribute up to 80% of their salary into the 401k. So you're not taking
80.
away that choice. Absolutely. I've never met anybody to do that. I'm waiting on that to happen, but that's never happened yet.
I think there is a per year dollar.
There's a
cap.
$56,000 cap.
Regardless, let's take me for example. I'm not an LEO. If you all decided to reduce the contributions from the town side to my 401k to, let's say, 2.5%, and then the remainder of that money would go on my paycheck every other week, I could choose to increase my 401k contributions to 2.5% more to make up the difference into my own retirement account. So that is a choice. You're not taking that away from anyone.
And I do want to reiterate, I am not interested in lessening the benefits that we provide to our staff in any fashion. So, and I would be a big fan of providing options, because what's right for you, it may not be right for me. And last point is, it obviously has to be equitable across all staff members.
Well, John, I've got a question for you and you both, Paige. Are you suggesting that we need a two-tier system on our salaries for people that are under a certain age, that they want the money instead of the benefits, and you get people that are over a certain age that want all the benefits and that what goes with that? I mean, how does this, what do we do? I mean, I don't know. Where do we land on this?
Ooh, that's a really hard question to answer. And I think it's going to take a lot more conversations than we can have tonight, obviously.
So from my perspective, a two-tiered system is.
You can't do that. It's
I,
illegal, number one. So.
well, nobody is proposing a two-tiered system for folks. I would like to, if there are options that we can introduce into the mix, that don't, like you said, there maybe are issues in the software that would make it challenging to implement that kind of stuff. And so ultimately, I go back to my statement about, do we have too much of our employee compensation in long-term benefits and not enough in take-home pay? And I think that, now, that's a complicated question that will require, obviously, conversations beyond what we're doing here tonight, or even maybe this fiscal year. But I do think we should be having them, because there are people that, at least according to the one living wage calculator, and I realize that there are lots of variables in that, but there are people that are making less money, significantly less money than what it takes to live here.
One thing I've heard is our benefit package has been a draw to come to work for the town of Waynesville. That's one thing that I've heard out there from employees, is it's been a benefit that 90% of the places you go to work at, you're not going to get the package like you get at the town of Waynesville. It don't happen. And so what I'm hearing, that isn't an attractive thing of being able to get the kind of benefits that you get from the town of Waynesville.
Sure.
But then we're being judged against other municipalities and pay studies that, based on the base pay.
Yeah, you can't compare us
You
up to
can't.
somebody like Asheville. It's got hundreds of thousands of the citizens that are paying taxes, compared to us, 10,600, of a lower municipality than we are. There's no way we can compare or compete with, Hendersonville or Buncombe County. But I do think we got a good benefit package, and I hate to see something happen to that, because you may, if it goes to where it affects even the folks that are making a little bit above the wage, that's going to be make them want to go somewhere else or something like that, maybe two or something, because of the benefit that you are drawing.
How many people did we have leave for MSD from Public Works?
It was between 10 and 15 in the past 2 fiscal years.
And they left because of,
Pay.
They
More money.
chose the short-term benefit over the.
Paige, how many have
long-term.
tried to come back?
Pardon?
How many have tried to come back?
From MSD, none.
Okay, that's shocking, because I know a lot of businesses have lost people. They've been,
We have had-
the carrot's out there.
Sure.
They go for the carrot and
I
then they
agree.
come back.
We have had several boomerang employees, as I call them,
Okay,
but none from MSD.
okay.
But it's a great question. I am here to serve you. I would love some direction so I can meet your expectations here.
So a compensation study is not an unusual study in human resources. If that's something the council would be interested in, then the consultant could look at our region and determine what the benefits packages are. And I think you'd have a much better ability to weigh our base salaries against the compensation packages.
when I hear, on the one hand, I fully understand the dynamics of the budget situation that we are in right now. And so when I hear, yes, I think everybody would agree that increasing salaries to a livable wage is a laudable goal, but that laudable goal is light years beyond what we can even conceive of affording at this point in time.
Agreed.
Yeah, so from my perspective, I'm not sure that there is much left for you to do. I do feel like that we're on the right track we've studied salaries in public safety and
Part of Public Works.
yeah.
We've got one more phase
Yeah.
to go through.
And so I don't want to short circuit that process at all. From my perspective, big picture, let's look at these things going forward rather than trying to make immediate fixes that have ripples that we can't anticipate. And so that's all I'm saying is that let's look at that going forward.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, because whenever I saw that $1.8 million, that's like 13 cents on the tax dollar. That was, yeah, we can't afford that.
I'm glad I was sitting down.
Anyone else have any? Thank you, Paige.
You're welcome. I'll
Thank
ask Ian to come back
Over
up.
the end, yeah. Okay, guys, we'll
Well,
Should
Ian still.
I'd like to echo.
Bless you.
I'd like to echo one comment that Paige made. What are my directives from the council? Where would you like me to go next with the budget before June 30th?
I think we came back that we wanted you to look at this. Councilman Dixon wanted you to look at cuts to sewer,
Water and sewer.
water and sewer as well. There was still another department that we hadn't talked about yesterday, which was downtown and public works that we could still need to have some discussions about. Let's see if you can find some additional cuts.
I mean, could we still, Rob, pass a partial budget to get this?
The tax rate.
Certainly, you can do
Anything.
To get this.
I just want to reiterate, now you can't make a motion 2 weeks from now to reconsider the tax rate.
I
No,
don't,
we're-
I
we're-
can tell
we're ready to
you
move forward on that.
unequivocally, we are not going to change the tax rate.
We're ready tonight
There's-
to move forward.
I've had that happen, and the Machinery Act says that once you set it, it's set.
No, that's the one thing that I wanted to.
Do you
ask
have that
about is
tax rate for us to set?
let
It's-
me, I mean, to me, I think we are
95%
a
there.
long way down the trail towards being satisfied with our budget. So I mean, if we want to set the tax rate tonight, that's fine. But I also don't envision that we wouldn't have a budget by June 30, right?
That is correct.
And is that what y'all
Yeah.
kind of think as well?
Yeah, oh yeah. We have said, and we're still all in favor of not raising the tax rate. So in my opinion, I think we ought to just adopt the whole thing at the same time.
Same
I'm
time.
not-
So wait until we have a
Right.
complete package.
I'm good with,
Yeah. I'm good with
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
I think
And I
Chuck's
think
right.
what
I'm good
Ian
with
can
that.
do is maybe work on the two departments that you were talking about.
Three.
Three.
Water, sewer, downtown, public works.
Yes.
And then water and sewer, yeah, downtown and public works. And I don't know, do we need to meet again or can you maybe send us a proposal, maybe?
So that was going to be my next question. Is I know Councilman Feichter had brought up yesterday being curious about what the budget would look like with a 3% increase in sales tax. If it is agreeable to the council, I'm more than happy to work up two budgets. Once I meet with these departments that you guys would like me to further revise, I can do one with the original sales tax increase and then one with the 3% sales tax.
You might as well just go with the 3%. I'm relenting to John on this.
Are you, Anthony, are you okay with? the,
Yes, I'm
3%?
okay with that. It's seriously, it is like throwing a dart. A 0.5%, $47,000 is not going to make or break the
And
budget.
I'm not a gambler either,
So-
but Gary and I've been here long enough that this has been a contentious thing
Yes.
for Gary and I for years.
Yeah.
Is that we keep looking and you can go back historically, you and Paige, I don't know, but I have never heard of us ever not meeting the threshold on our sales tax.
Our sales
Right.
tax, yes.
We've
So
never,
I-
we've
yeah.
always surpassed it. And Gary and I both budgets over the years, we have been adamant about when, being too conservative and
Yeah.
just, let's do it. Push it up, push it up, push it up. So, yeah,
I'm good
I'm
with that.
100% with John on this.
And I'm,
Push it up a half a point. I mean, yeah.
I'm hopeful too, even though the economy is waffling, that tourism is still okay. And in fact, there may be more local tourism or not local, but not
Regional.
plane flights, but
Regional.
yeah, regional tourism than before. So the statistics seem to show that. So maybe we'll be okay. So,
Yeah.
sure, go with the 3%.
Would it,
I've seen regional
you should
studies
push
that
for-
during the Great Recession, local tourism in this region, we just shifted our demographic. We got less
We-
nationwide. and-
We did incredible during COVID because we were local and the people that needed to travel and wanted to travel were coming out of Atlanta and Knoxville and Tennessee and all that. So
It was a short
we
distance. people that
did
come.
good on the short destination travel stuff.
did.
And that's what our TDAs told us. So
Yeah. Okay.
so
I
could-
support John on that.
Ian, what did we average in the last 12 months? 4.5%?
4.9 is what he presented to
We're
us
at-
yesterday. Or
We're at 4.69
4.6.
over
over what we collected
20,
last
25.
year.
And I was just telling John, I'm good with making the compromise of meeting in the middle at 3.5.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's another $47,000.
No, it's
Yeah,
half of a percent. So it's
60.
20, no, it's so like 23 on top of that.
You guys might
So-
make your fund balance disappear.
That's
Your
what
fund
the-
balance
well, I was
appropriated.
telling-
Fund balance appropriated, not the whole fund balance.
Yes, fund balance appropriate. but
So
Yeah, don't kill
Do-
Rob with a
do
heart
y'all
attack.
good?
I'm trying not to.
I'm okay with that.
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
Good with that.
okay.
We'll always, do you have, John, Chuck, do you have a target for your utilities? Because I have to say that Ian and I made the cuts to the utilities against the vehement opposition of the staff. So we will not get any further cooperation from them. We'll just have to cut it uniform. We'll make the cuts based on last year's actuals, because we won't get any. We won't get any.
Let me
response.
rephrase that. Ian and Paige will be making those cuts.
No, I understand.
You're.
No, I understand. When we originally brought you this budget with a target of 10% for water and 10% for sewer, we were presented with a budget that was millions of dollars higher. We did not get any cooperation. We made the cuts ourselves. So we've gone back and asked, and we've got no further cooperation. So Ian and Paige will have to make these cuts on their own.
That's very unfortunate.
Well, I'm just telling you what the reality is. So, we would normally look at the individual last year's actuals and use that as a base. And then if we find that our prediction for Mark Cathy can help us, prediction for electric consumption, for instance, for the new sewer plant that's going to go up 25%, then we know to increase that item 25%. If we know that chemicals using sodium hypochlorite are be considerably higher than it was last year, we can increase that.
Right.
Those are the measures that we can use.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes, sir.
I would be willing to work with you on this as well, is to take your actuals, what it's increased, and make that projection. And not all, just as Rob was saying, you take see what your increase was, what inflation is going to be, and make that adjustment.
Certainly be
It's
nice. to have
realistic.
Some cooperation. I mean, I know I was looking at maybe telephone this way up, but I think we put in Skylink at the water treatment plant maybe. So there probably are some justification for some of the increases, but not we've asked every other department to make, I'm not sure if it's sacrifices, but to cut things. So we don't see increases in all the line items from the other departments unless it's necessary.
So when we asked for that, they gave us an additional $1 million in increases. To show you an example of attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that's very unfortunate.
I think so.
for them.
Yeah,
And you
Yes.
can read into that what you will.
I concur.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask council one more thing?
Sure.
And then
Yes.
I'll be out of your hair the rest of the evening, I promise. When would the council like this by? I'm going on vacation to everybody's dream destination in Southwest Ohio this weekend. So after that, I
Do
know.
not work, yeah.
How long
How
are you
long
going
are
to
you
be
on?
in Southwest?
I get back
Ohio?
Monday afternoon. So I was thinking
You
maybe
did
end of day
not do it.
Wednesday, have it
Tuesday,
over.
Wednesday, yes.
Okay.
Do not do this before
Enjoy your,
vacation,
yes.
please. Because we will not have a meeting for 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, I want to make sure you all have
And I'm
enough
getting
ample
that
time.
side eye to Paige as well for what she did last night.
Yes.
Okay,
Would you
thank you.
like to go ahead and set a budget meeting for yourselves Friday week?
I don't think we'll need to have a budget meeting.
Okay, so you just have him report to the next
Yes.
board meeting?
I think kind of next steps, I'll have the budget to you all by end of day next Wednesday. We'll go, just however you all feel. And I will come with a prepared ordinance to the next council meeting that meets the wishes of the council.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much for what everybody's doing, really,
Yeah.
honestly.
All the department heads, you guys have done phenomenal during this budget season as well in helping not increase taxes for our constituents.
Thank you so much.
Or yourselves as group sitting here.
Okay, guys, we'll move on to,
Sorry, the council to interrupt. I have a concern. It's becoming
Okay.
increasingly uncomfortable.
Together.
Now that we've passed the budget item on tonight's agenda, I don't foresee you needing me.
No.
Do we
Any
need-
further.
Do
Go
we
home and
have
take care
that
of
one
yourself.
item or
Go
can we
take care of yourself.
keep that till later?
Okay,
Is that,
that's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Thanks,
can.
Andy.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you.
You all right to get home?
Oh, yeah. I'll be fine as long as I don't bend my head the wrong way getting into the car.
I can always get you a ride.
That's true.
Hope you get feeling better. Okay, we move on to item 5, preliminary architectural report contract with McMillan Mazdan, is that right? What do you say that? Smith and Architect? Rob?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm reporting this on behalf of the committee that'll be working on your fire station. We met with, excuse me, representatives of the architectural firm you chose at your last meeting. They have 2 tasks with their architectural contract. The first being that they have to prepare a preliminary architectural report to USDA and prepare a report for USDA on their document. Their guidance is called Guidance Sheet 420. And what they propose is to do that preliminary architectural report, which includes working with the committee on the floor plan, a rough structural engineering, a foundation, a site plan, and finally an initial budget for the building that they propose a lump sum of $99,850. That will take you through the first phase of the 5-phase architectural process. So you're not losing any money. Once they determine what the budget and the complexity of the fire building will be, they can enter into a negotiation with you for a lump sum contract for the rest of the contract. So what we're asking for tonight is to approve a contract for the preliminary architectural report and the preparation of the report to USDA. They will not release the $2.97 million congressional earmark without that review and their acceptance of that review. And just as an aside, if you decide you just don't like this architectural firm, you're not under any obligation to continue it beyond the PAR. If you notice in your consent agenda, we included a reimbursement agreement, reimbursement resolution, which means that once the USDA frees the $2.97 million, you may reimburse yourselves for the $99,850 from the congressional earmark. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Does this also require separate budget authorization? No?
No.
You are correct. I should have had a budget amendment. Because we'll have to
Oh,
have a fund
yeah,
balance.
if we're gonna pass, yeah,
Yeah, we're going to do it in,
but the par, but yeah.
Yeah, we can do it.
Rob, does this initial contract, what are we doing on the, doing another site survey on the land itself?
But you
Will that
have-
be in this? I mean,
So
is this,
it
is that
will-
gonna be stage 2 on this initial contract?
So their contract does say that if there are any additional geological reports or anything like that, that's in addition to this cost. You have both a phase 1 and a phase 2 environmental report done by BLE. You have a survey. You had that survey done when you closed the land. So the only thing I think they could require is if they want a survey of the actual load bearing capacity of the soil and how deep it is. we, Preston did this for us because he was still on staff, and the load-bearing soil is about 8 feet below the surface. But if they require a survey like that, that would be something that could easily be done by the civil engineer or by BLE. So yes.
Yeah.
It certainly would be an additional cost. And we can prepare if you want to make a motion to adopt the budget amendment, then I'd add another 25,000 to that, and
Okay.
And Ian can prepare one for you.
Let me do that.
I apologize for
No,
that.
I'm sorry I didn't catch that.
My time goes short. I apologize.
Why are you?
You've got 5 hours, don't you? Come on.
Well, I got all day tomorrow, but I haven't started packing yet.
I'm sorry I didn't catch that earlier.
Well, you're quite correct, Anthony.
Sorry.
After you're going to do that.
Yeah, I'm going to do both.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve the contract for PAR for preparations of the PAR.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll make a motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $124,850 for PAR.
Second.
Second by Chuck, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign.
And Rob, this will come out of this year's budget instead of next year's, because most of
We'll
it,
set up a project budget.
okay, but we're
So
pretty
it
much
is-
heavy on next year's budget versus.
Yeah, this will be coming out of the fund balance.
Of
But
now.
it'll be set up as a project budget that'll last 3 years
Yeah.
under the same
Yeah.
budget code.
Gotcha.
And you won't see any money coming
But
out
now the 99 will come
until
out of this year's budget.
y'all start meeting with them and they send us a pay request.
Will you remind me what when they have to dig deep what is the name of that footer that when they go deep? What's it called?
Caissons.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've heard that word.
Well, they actually used a caisson footing system for the Publix.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So
It's common in the,
Yes.
it's very, very
Thank
Is there a
common.
lot of field there?
Reminded me.
It's usually 90
No,
feet.
the
isn't it?
soil, the base soil itself was bad.
Was bad.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
gumbo clay.
I thought maybe about it.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's it.
Is that all you need for that, Rob?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, we move on to item 6, Sanctuary Drive culvert replacement and road repair project. Hutch?
Mr. Mayor, town council members, thanks for having me tonight. We're talking about the Sanctuary Drive project. This project addresses 2 culvert locations that sustained damage during Hurricane Helene. Following multiple reviews and revisions to this project scope, the work's been refined to focus on the 2 highest priorities, which are these 2 culverts that are running under the roadway of Sanctuary Drive. The project's expected to benefit approximately 40 households by restoring improving critical drainage infrastructure and roadway stability within that affected area. 2 contractors submitted bids with Enterprise G providing the lowest responsive proposal at $240,141. And their estimated project duration timeline would be 5 to 6 weeks from the notice to proceed. Town staff continues to work with FEMA regarding funding assistance. While at least a portion will be reimbursed, the final sum hasn't been determined yet. If there's a funding shortfall, the difference would need to be funded through the town's general fund or PAL bill.
Chuck, you have a question?
No, sorry, go ahead.
Julie?
No, sir. I'll do actually for Rob. Rob, is this the area that you drove up? It's below where I was talking about?
This is the actual culverts as you drive in.
Okay.
Um,
He went up and looked at all that yesterday.
But we've, Hutch and I talked about that area.
Okay.
In fact, we talked about it yesterday and today, about getting that area at Iris Drive and Sanctuary.
So the area you're
Thank you.
talking about was on
Thank you.
the original project scope. However, we brought it down to just the highest priority, but it's definitely a priority.
Yeah, FEMA wouldn't fund it.
Of course.
Well, I appreciate people are asking, so I appreciate
Oh,
that.
I went up there yesterday as well, and it's almost half the road. It's really down to one lane in that area from Begonia to the kind of turnaround up at the top.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you both.
Okay.
So,
All right, guy.
Are you aware of any other
That you need
culverts that
the
were?
motion.
That's fine. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract award for the Sanctuary Drive Culvert Replacement and Road Repair Project for Enterprise G in the amount of $240,141.
Okay, got a motion by
Second.
Anthony, second by Julia. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, shall have sign. Okay, let's.
All right.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a budget amendment for development service. Alex Momby, did I say it right?
Yes.
Good evening, Council. It's me again. Paige, if you could open up the PowerPoint. All right. Good evening, Council. We're here to announce that the grant that we applied for to continue the Boyd Avenue Greenway, or the Richland Creek Greenway to Boyd Avenue, we were awarded it from the Tourism Development Authority. So I'll give you some background, go over again the budget for that grant, and then look for your approval for that grant. So some background on that grant. On the right-hand side, you'll see the satellite view from Haywood County GIS, with that green line being the location of what would be the new greenway, the new segment of greenway, and it would continue the greenway that currently ends behind Hickory Hollow Apartment. It would also pave the path from that greenway to Killian Drive, which would provide paved access from the middle school to the greenway, and also paved access to Dutch Fisher Ballpark. On the left, that is an image of what the current access looks like, which is a pretty rough gravel path that is accessible, but is definitely not an ideal condition for accessing the greenway there. And so we would pave that and also provide a crosswalk over to Old Hickory Street there to provide better access for the middle schoolers there. Yep. We've previously had engineering done by Preston Gregg, and so this is compliant with all flood regulation. He provided us a no-rise statement that this would not raise the flood levels, so that we're good to progress with this in the floodplain and the floodway. Part of the scope of this project is removing a lot of the invasive bamboo that is currently there that blocks the continued access for the greenway, as well as removal of some abandoned sheds on the property and some vegetation, as well as the lowering of manholes. And this greenway segment is part of the larger Richland Creek Greenway system and the Haywood County Greenway system that was envisioned in multiple feasibility studies and the Haywood County Greenway Strategic Plan. So here is the overview of this segment of greenway from the 2017 feasibility study for the greenway. This greenway segment provides connection between Frog Level and Hazelwood, two of the core business districts in Waynesville, in addition to all of the residential neighborhoods along that route as well. So it provides a far safer access for families to walk and bike to dinner in both Hazelwood and Frog Level, as well as going to softball games at Dutch Fisher Ballpark. I'll go over, just to reiterate, that this was included in the 2017 feasibility study, and that it's been a priority connection of the Haywood County Greenways Council and the Haywood County Greenway Plan. Now, this plan, this segment, while it might seem small, the way that we have to build the greenway here in Waynesville compared to other places that can do Rails to Trails programs is that it is in these very small segments, but it's once these segments are built and strung together that we have that greenway connection. And so currently the greenway at Dutch Fisher Ballpark, like I've said, terminates at that bamboo forest, and it's not a great way to actually connect to other places. So this segment would provide that connectivity to that greenway segment. To get into the budget a little bit, I want to be clear, we're not asking for any additional budgetary spending on this grant. The way that we've made up this match for the grant is a number of ways. First is the granted easement that CARE provided us in 2024, as well as the purchase of the Queen property in 2020 for $20,000. So the town does own the property along the creek from the terminus of the existing greenway all the way to the CARE property on the corner. And CARE has provided the town an easement to build that greenway to Boyd Avenue. So we do have control of the property the whole way. As part of the TDA grant, they allow us to count money that has been spent for land acquisition as part of the match. So that $20,000 that was already spent in 2020 towards land acquisition counts as match towards that grant. As well, we've worked with Haywood Waterways, who has committed $35,000 to this grant, and they're going to be handling the bamboo removal, as well as making sure that it does not come back. So that's going to involve some deep digging, multiple feet deep, as well as continued maintenance of that property. As well, they've said that they'll handle some of the shed demolition that's on that property that's needed. As well, the rest of that match is made up through in-kind labor contributions from the Public Works Department. There are a number of things that need to be handled in that segment that the town will be responsible for. That includes the rough grading of the property, the removal of a lot of vegetation that's there to clear the path, as well as the lowering of some manhole covers that are there. So if you walk that property now, the manholes are about 2 feet above the ground, and those will need to be level for the path to be built. So the rest of the match, which is not the rest of the match, the money that we're being provided from the grant, which is $127,000, that would go strictly to the construction of the grant, and a lot of that money actually goes to material for the construction of the greenway. These cost estimates were provided to us by Preston Gregg, who did the engineering for the grant, like I said. And so we just want to emphasize that each of these segments is really important to creating that overall connectivity that the Greenway provides. This is an image from the Haywood County Greenway Plan, showing the potential for the Greenway, including artistic insignias of the Hellbender, other logos to guide people where they're needed. So
This is continuing the work of Leroy Robertson. So I want to say his name because he was huge on greenways and this continuation of that and his legacy on this council. So I'm a firm supporter of greenways.
Leroy, this project there.
Yep.
I forgot that. Yeah. John, you have a question for Julie?
No, sir.
Chuck? Okay. Guys, we need to
we just got a
approve this.
motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget amendment.
Second.
Second with George. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Okay, thanks, Alex.
All right, thank you, Council.
E.T., you gotta be proud of that boy. He does a great job.
As I said at our budget meeting, you
Yeah, he's
really build your staff up, and that's commendable.
He does a beautiful job.
Yeah, which town are you planning to go to?
Here,
not.
Waynesville,
Yeah.
Waynesville.
All right, we'll move on to flood proofing the finance department. Rob?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. While we were renovating the finance department, it became pretty clear to us that that's a building that's going to flood again. It's flooded twice in my tenure here. And one of the things I learned in working through FEMA is that you don't have to necessarily move a structure above a 100-year floodplain if it's structurally capable of being flood proof. I asked McGill & Associates, one of their engineers, to develop a flood proofing plan for 280 George Avenue. And what they've done is to study the different flood doors and flood apparatus for the building to develop something that's not so difficult that the staff couldn't operate it. What they've come up with is a simple flood door that opens from the outside, and the pressure of the water pushes it forward and seals. Those doors would be on all doors leading into the building, including the double door at the front. That door is a 3.0 door with a matching glass window. Those doors would be replaced by two not particularly attractive doors with 22-inch windows in the front, but they are flood-proof.
Right.
All of the doors in the building will be flood-proof. And if you have ever studied the windows, there's a 24 by 24 metal plate or little panel right below the aluminum window. It's not flood-proof in the least. What they recommend doing is removing all of the brick around that and around the doors and putting a 24 by 24 porcelain tile in its place, and we can choose the type and color of that tile. They'll mastic that tile in and waterproof it, and then place the brick back where it was, again using flood-proofing techniques, so that all the windows will also be flood-proofed up to the window ledge. We know, thanks to Helene, what our 500-year floodplain is going to be. So it's about 27 inches, and we'll go 30 inches. We don't have any plans to flood-proof the fire base because the flood didn't flood the fire equipment itself. And when you enclose the fire bays after Station 2's built, one of your instructions to your architect would be to further flood-proof that bay. And you could simply do that by adding a couple flood doors and make sure your windows are above the 100-year flood stage. And they've developed the designs that are provided in your agenda and a bid package. So I just want, let me also mention that we still have about $300,000 in the insurance settlement that we could use to pay for this project. And my recommendation is that we bid this out and see what it costs to do it, and go ahead and get it done before the building floods again and we have to abandon it.
I move we authorize staff to bid out the floodproofing project with bids to be approved by the council.
Second.
Got a second, but John, correct?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign.
Also, since we have a member on the council that has a degree in interior design, I would propose that they be the one to help with the tile selection.
I'd be glad to do any of that. And also, Rob, just a quick question. When you talk about the bays there where the trucks are coming in, and that rolls into where that conference area is.
Yeah.
So will the conference area, it will be protected. The
Yes.
bays we're not worried
The
about.
door.
Yeah, I
the
mean, I saw
door-
what you
Yeah.
gave us, so.
Yeah, the door between the bays
And the conference area.
conference area and the new bunk rooms and all will be flood-proof.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, next item 9 is selection of engineering services, design bid, and provided construction administration for the Little Champion Pump Station and associated projects. Rob,
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm gonna miss you.
Oh, I don't know about that. Just creating more work for you, I'm afraid. We've talked for the last year or two about the junction box in the property of the Little Champion box factory or whatever it is. It's about 15 feet from the water line of Richland Creek, and it's been probably flooding on and off for 20 or 30 years. It is definitely on Diener's radar, and they have recognized that it's a complex project, and they've helped us by providing three state loans to fund this project. One is $5 million, a second $3 million, and then a third for $490,000, totaling $14 million. So you can see this is a sizable project. What we plan to do is to take that junction box where the main outfall from the traditional Waynesville developed city comes in and gets split between two other outfalls that lead to the sewer plant, and move that entire junction box up to the 500-year flood limit. Well, of course, when we move it uphill, we're also going to have to reroute the outfalls from town to the new junction box, and from the new junction box down to its connection with the two outfalls. The siphon, which is basically a small force main, is no longer working as it did probably in 1954 when it was built, and our engineer recommends a very small pressure pump system be installed of about 11 pounds per square inch. That would be also part of this design. We drafted an RFP, we sent it statewide, and we received one proposal for engineering services from McGill and Associates. Your purchasing policy and the state law do not require that bids for engineering, architecture, and surveying require 3 bids, as do construction projects. So I'd recommend that you approve McGill and Associates as the engineer for this project.
Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
All right, so we give me a motion.
I move we approve McGill and Associates as engineer for the Little Champion wastewater renovation project, authorize staff to negotiate a price for the engineering evaluation, and a lump sum fee for the remainder of the improvements.
Okay, got a motion by Chuck.
Second.
Second by Julia. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign. Temporary social district for events. and
Bless you,
hazing.
Meredith, we're sitting there all this time.
Sorry, Miss Meredith, we had you sitting back there all this time.
Hi, I'm
Good
Meredith
citizens.
Norris Plateau. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Mayor and Town Council. Many of you that I've gotten the opportunity to know before. So this is my first time in a town council meeting ever in my life. So I'm not sure. When I was talking with Mr. Fowler, if I was supposed to bring anything, he said no. So do you all have the documents that I drafted for him?
We pretty much have
we will
everything in our agenda packet.
Okay.
We will be very kind.
Yeah,
Let's just say
yeah, he, you know, well, Kansas put everything in our.
Thank you.
We've seen the ordinance, the map, and
Yes.
all the
Signatures.
all the consents by all the, looks like every merchant in Hazelwood.
Everybody that's within the proposed district consented. And I practice law here in Waynesville. And when I've done a hearing in district court, when my judge says, you don't have any closing arguments right now, and I know that it's the time not to belabor the point. So if you all have any questions for me or need me to say anything, please let me know.
I really like that. I appreciate the time that was put into this. I appreciate that you took all the time to get all the merchants.
Signature, yeah,
And
that's
I
really
think
good,
it's a fantastic idea.
100%.
So I would make a motion to approve temporary social district in the Hazelwood Hot Summer Night special event dates, and to approve a temporary social district for the Hazelwood Fest and Hometown Christmas Parade events, following approval of a special event permit application for those events.
Thank you.
Got a motion by
Second.
Anthony,
Second.
second by Chuck. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, show like sign.
I can't believe it. This wasn't
Most
as
people don't
nerve wracking
get off
as I
that
thought.
easy.
I gotta tell one on her.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the liberty because we're actually ahead of schedule tonight. This lovely lady, back when she was in Raleigh, the next morning, one day, about 8 o'clock in the morning, they were like, you've been appointed to the crime commission in Raleigh. And I'm like, what? What? She was working with the Speaker of the House, and I'm like, oh, well, that's wonderful. And this lovely lady got me put on that. So thank you, Mary. So
Yeah.
it was a blessing to serve. I did 14 years. So
Oh my gosh, really, Julie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's beyond dedication.
If everyone had been as prepared as you, everything would go a lot smoother up there. Just say
Yeah.
that. So thank you.
Thank you. What do you need from me to make, the first date is June 20th is,
No,
fill
you
in
don't
this
need,
application,
that's for the
everything's
hot,
done. From what I saw in the
hot summer
package.
nights, which we've already approved their special
Yeah,
permit for their
the
events.
package was filled out as far as I could see.
Yeah, that one's done. The only ones that we haven't gotten
Would be
special event
Christmas.
packages for is the Hazelwood Fest and Christmas Parade.
Okay.
And this will cover that whenever we get the
I
special
think Candace
permits.
has the ordinance and she'll need to put it on the website.
The
and-
ordinance on the website, and of course, if you have any other questions, you can reach out to your, Mr. Fowler.
thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
I really appreciate
I was going
it.
to say also, in the past, there's been, the folks doing the social districts have got together with the folks serving alcohol to make sure that they understood all the rules and all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, there's the signs that need to go up showing the boundaries of the district and the signs on the and cups. I saw the cups. And also the signs that go on doors, because people can choose, store owners can choose, and you're all going to be, it sounds like they're all going to welcome people into their businesses if they're open, but there are
That'll be
signs
easy.
that go on each of the stores that say, we welcome drinks, or, we sell drinks. And you can look at the ones that were done for Ice Fest and for the other social districts we've done too.
Yeah, you can reach out to Chuck or I'm guessing.
Sure.
Did I speak for you, Chuck? And we can help as well.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone have a great evening.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, we move on to communication from staff. Rob, you have any last
Last
words
words.
for us today?
Words of wisdom.
Well, I don't have any words of wisdom. You've been along with me long enough to know that. Let me say from my heart that I am forever grateful for the opportunity you gave me to serve this community. I probably had planned not to stay here 10 years, but I've enjoyed myself so much that it feels like the 10 years have passed very, very quickly. And I enjoy Waynesville. As you know, I've managed all the way from the coast to the mountains. And we love these mountains. We love waking up to the mountains in the morning. And Waynesville is a special town. And I've been through some towns. And I want to thank you again for the opportunity to serve you. I'm leaving you with an incredible staff. I'm incredibly proud. You've got a great interim manager. This is the only town that has 3 interim managers. We had Rick Howell came to the staff meeting today, and it's the first time in my career I've had 3 managers in one table. I know that you're going to be served well by your staff. As you can tell, every manager has to learn how to use the AB system. So she had to do that as a qualification to be an interim manager. And I just want to thank you. As you know, I'm not going anywhere. My cell phone number is the same. I don't anticipate you'll need me for anything because Paige and Rick are going to do such a good job. But I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much for your service.
And I appreciate it.
Okay.
I want to just say, and I said this at your retirement ceremony the other day, but and maybe it's because of your retirement coming up, but I've been thinking a lot about why we do the things that we do. and ultimately it's to make Waynesville a better place. And when I say we, I mean the council, staff, and even down to our volunteer advisory boards. And if you think about the impact that you've had on Waynesville, it's undoubtedly a better place because of your service. And so one of the first big decisions that I was part of on the Board of Aldermen all those years ago was hiring you. And here you are 11 years later and you're leaving us. So, but I thank you. It's been a pleasure sitting next to you. And one thing that, and I'm sure y'all have this same experience, but one thing that always struck me about Rob is, number one, you could text or call him no matter weekend, night, whatever. If you had a question, he responded. I remember one time it took him a few minutes to call me back, and when he did, he was huffing and puffing. He'd been weeding on the side of a bank somewhere, and every time I saw Rob, he would shake my hand and say, "Is there anything I can do for you?" And that was always a source of comfort for me as a member of this council. So thank you, sir.
My pleasure. It's been my pleasure.
Rob, because of you, I consider myself a better person. You've taught me a lot about municipalities and how things work, and I couldn't have had a greater mentor and teacher. And one of the things that we try to do, I think all of us, is that we try to leave things better than what we came in. And Waynesville is definitely a better place because of you.
Thank
Do you have anything?
Oh, where do I begin? Oh, my goodness. Wow. Well, first, I'm putting this on the record. This is my fourth manager in the town of Waynesville. And Rob was going to be my third manager, but he was not. He applied for the interim. And then, thank God, he had the courage after that to apply for the full-time manager. I picked him as the interim, and that didn't work out. But then he came on, and everybody was just convinced that he was going to be the right man for the job, and how right everybody was. Amazing. 10 years. When I asked this question recently about managers in the state of North Carolina, what, 2.7 years or 3 or something? This man is held in here. He's been incredible. He is so respected in this community, and kudos to him. And he has literally built a legacy that will carry us forward. And he's got an incredible staff, the people he's put in place. Rob, I can't thank you enough. And exactly ditto on what John said. It didn't matter. We could call him, at midnight or 6 a.m. and the man would answer the phone. And the first thing out of his mouth was always, "What can I do for you? How can I help you?" I mean, that's just amazing. He wasn't like, "Why the hell are you calling me at 6 a.m.?" Yeah, he was always there for us. And I know you'll be here for us in the future. And I respect you so much. And respect that man has across the state, across the Southeast, across the country is amazing. And his knowledge, there's only a couple of people I can put on my hand that their knowledge of information is amazing. And he's rarely stumped. I can't remember when he was stumped. The man knows it. He's got an answer for it, or he knows somebody that can answer it. Rob, you've got my love. You've got my respect. I wish you the best in retirement. Hope you and Lucy run off and do some crazy things and have some great times. But yeah, I love you. You've got my heart.
I appreciate that so much.
Chuck Kelly.
like I said at the reception the other day, the thing I'll miss the most is Rob telling us how they did it in Statesville, and his immediate response was, well, I could have been telling you how they did it in Lumberton. Good luck. But you heard what I had to say the other day. I'm not looking forward to having to train another manager. Not that I trained you at all. In fact, what I said the other day was you trained me and you really taught me an awful lot, and I really appreciate that. And you've been a mentor and a friend, and I hope that continues. So thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate it.
We love you. Yeah. Okey doke. We'll move on here. Town attorney got a crook in her neck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, communication from the mayor and staff, I guess that was,
I had one question for Paige. Did you?
Yeah.
That was great.
You want to hold that till 5 o'clock tomorrow?
Take that opportunity.
Were you prepared to continue the discussion that we had the other day, or do you want to wait for Martha?
I think that it's in the council's best interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree.
She said it was in our best interest if we waited for the town attorney.
okay, okay. All right,
Then I'm done.
okay. You have anything else, guys?
Couple things, just real quick. There's money out there for people wanting to do repairs to their homes. It's WNCReady.com. This is the Southwest Commission handling the up to $25,000 for anybody. You don't even have to be affected by Helene. For home repairs, heating, cooling. Candace is going to get get the information out on the current letter, the current newsletter, the letter will be coming out. And and you mentioned to me, Gary, that you wanted me to bring this up. Candace has been looking at trying to get the portrait of former Mayor Brown done. And I was going to suggest that maybe Julia might want to work with her to work on that. It's too expensive to have a painting done.
Yeah.
We can take a photograph and take it to Staples,
Right.
and it will be on it'll be on campus. So, yeah.
And I thought, and I've been out in the hallway, and I don't know if we need to start rearranging, but there's no room in that hallway really unless we move things together. And so we need in size, whether we need the same, I would defer to your
Glad to
She's
help.
a
design.
She's a decorator.
And figure out where, because we're going to have plenty more.
I hope so.
At least one.
At least one more. Yeah, very soon.
But yeah,
Do we need
figure
any
out where
board action on
we're
that,
going to
or-
put these, and do we need to downsize a little bit or
I've got some good pictures.
That'd be great.
Okay, we don't need any board action, she said. If you,
Yeah.
No,
We'll get it.
no,
We'll
we
make,
don't.
we'll make it happen.
if you two are
We
out
got
there, will handle that and get that going. That's been on my mind for the past year or so, or something like that. Okay. All right, guys, if no further, I on my note, I need to wish Rob the best, and we did.
Thank you.
Yeah, other than that, I ask for a motion, we adjourn.
I move, we adjourn.
Second by Chuck, all in favor, say aye. Thank you all for coming out.
I don't want it to end, Rob. When
I know.
Don't end it.
Don't
Keep
let
it
him out
going.
the door.
Don't let him go.
Good working with you. I have
Thank
one
you.
more question.
Uh-oh.
A little champion, said there was
You
3
want
loans,
to talk
5
about that, I'll be
million,
glad.
3 million.
And two,
Would say good for me.
yeah.
Talk about